Losing? Not an option. Because we're rotten to the core. Surprise!
Ooh, mama! We've seen this. Obviously, that whole magic thing is involved again. It was magic, right? Actually, you know what? You don't need to tell me.
Thank you for understanding. It's gonna be so much fun.
You should have told me you like Sky from the start.
I've made my choice. I just hope it's right.
You guys, our family is awesome.
Aw, family truly is the greatest adventure of... Oh no, the ground!
He's not even a fighter bot! With great power comes great responsibility. From this moment on, the world will know me as Spider-Man! Come on, man! How we choose to fight is just as important as what we fight for. Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Let's get a roaster ready.
The Lord of the Elders is a great responsibility, and that responsibility is mine.
So I'm joined on my right by Orion Ross, the VP of Content for Animation and Digital for Disney Channel's EMEA at Disney. And to his right, I'm going to take a deep breath, I have David Levine, who is the Vice President of Programming, Production and Strategic Development, Disney Channel's EMEA, and General Manager, Disney Channel's UK and Ireland, Disney Channel's EMEA.
Well done.
So David, you're going to begin just by taking us through a bit of what Disney's looking for in terms of live action.
Yeah. So before we do that, just to set the table in terms of what the channels are all about. Disney channels are comprised of 3 key channels: Disney Junior, focused on preschoolers and their caregivers; Disney Channel, which focuses on kids 6 to 12, a bit of a leaning towards girls; and Disney XD, which focuses on boys. Across all 3 brands, we not only leverage great content from our heritage, but we also create new IP, and you saw a really great selection of that on the sizzle before. So characters like DuckTales, but also new characters like Vampirina and Puppy Dog Pals. We have a great app, the Disney Channel app, shown at the top left. About 300,000 installs in the UK and also all across EMEA. Disney Life is our direct-to-consumer experience. Over 400 movies and 3,000 episodes available in the UK. And then our YouTube channels are huge. We have, I want to get the numbers right, 1.8 million subscribers on channel and 3.2 million subscribers on Disney Junior with 175 million monthly views. So we have a pretty good reach. So we really look for content that has optimism at its heart and works for the Disney brands across all 3. In terms of live action, we can go to that after we talk about animation, if you like.
Of course. Yeah.
Sure. Hi, I'm Orion. I'm going to talk a little bit about animation. These 4 shows are some things that we're working on right now. Disney divides up the world into chunks, and the chunk that we are responsible for is called Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. So if you hear EMEA, that's what we're talking about. Our headquarters for that region is in London, where we're based. Animation is incredibly important to this whole region. We go to more than 100 different territories, and everything we make is dubbed into 21 languages. And if you get it right, animation travels really well, and that's why animation is a really key part of our strategy for all 3 channels. So we have more animated content that we're looking after here in Europe than ever before. So there are 11 series in production right now. That's more than 300 half hours of original animated content greenlit and delivering over the next 2 years. We're not a studio. We work with independent producers and studios all over the region. And we also work in very different business models. So we do have some full commissions where we own everything if it's based on an original Disney idea or a heritage property. But we also do co-productions. We do acquisitions across the region and sometimes just in a couple of different territories. So there are many different ways that we work, and we're open to working with producers on all kinds of different levels. A couple weeks ago, we made a really exciting announcement about the greenlight of 101 Dalmatian Street, which is a new series that's inspired by the 1961 film 101 Dalmatians, but it is not a remake of that film. It's an entirely new show that's been updated and set in London of today. And the idea is that there is a big old family house somewhere in North London, maybe Kentish Town, where there are 101 dogs, a family of 101 dogs that live together. It's mom and dad and 99 puppies. And that is a complicated and big, messy, blended family, because mom had 15 puppies and dad had 15 puppies from a previous marriage. Then they got together and they had some of the puppies of their own, and then they adopted some more. So it's a big, messy, blended family. Both parents work. So dad works in a firehouse. Mom is a specialist diagnostician for the NHS. And so they're working parents. And so it falls to the eldest siblings, who are called Dylan and Dolly, to really look after the family a lot. And we focus on them as they have responsibilities to help look after the whole household, but also they're just kids themselves, and they want to have their own adventures. So we've just started production on that. We're working with Passion Pictures in London as the lead producer. This is a global heritage series for Disney Channel, which will launch at the end of 2018. So super excited about that one. Another recent greenlight is Space Chickens in Space, which is about 3 chicken siblings who were abducted from Earth and wind up in an elite military academy. So they're like the worst new students in Top Gun for aliens. And they stick together, and it's about the bond between 2 brothers and a sister. That is produced by Cake Entertainment, based here in the UK, and with an interesting collection of constituent parts that happen all over the world. The key folks working on that one are 2 Norwegian twins called Tommy and Marcus Van Fladen, who have a YouTube channel called Twin Trash, which you should check out, which is great. They studied at Kingston and are really great creators. That's a co-production. That's one where we did a pilot with the producer and tested out the animatic, made some tweaks, and now it's in production, which we're delighted about. We do as little development as we possibly can on every show. We want to get stuff into production quickly, but we do also like to test out ideas. So one that we're working on right now is called Lottie Bear Shout. We don't normally talk about development, but this one was based on a short that we produced last summer for our Disney XD FC football shorts program, and it won a BAFTA, which we were pretty happy about, for Best Original Short Form. So the short was called Good as Gold. It's on YouTube. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Lottie Bear Shout is a series based on that idea. We're working with Wild Seed in Bristol on that one. Also today, I wanted to share with you a first look at Claude. And Claude is a new series for Disney Junior, which is based on the books by UK author Alex T. Smith, and that's the little black and white dog next to the other little black and white dogs. Seems to be a theme here. But Claude has a red beret and kind of an irrepressible attitude toward wanting to go out and help people. Often he creates chaos, but he always makes it right in the end. His best friend is a sock called Sir Bobley Sock, who is voiced by Simon Callow. We have a really great British cast in the show, also including Jane Horrocks as Mrs. Shiny Shoes, and Claude himself is the young Alex Maloney, who you'll hear on this little first look clip that we're going to show you. There's a strong but gentle aroma of pantomime humor about Claude. It's a little bit cheeky. It works really nicely for Disney Junior, but it's not something that we would get from the US. And we really are always looking for things that we can pick up and make in Europe which complement what we get from the US rather than duplicating it. So I'll just show you a tiny little first look at Claude, produced by the folks at 16 South in Belfast. Let's see the clip.
Oh, what a lovely day. Perfect for an adventure. What shall we do today, Sir Bubbly Sock? Sir Bubbly Sock? Ah, there you are, Sir Bubbly Sock. Huh? Wait for me!
So to touch on our live action slate, so we produced live action scripted primarily for Disney Channel, and basically comes to us and we work with producers in essentially in three ways, and it parallels on the animation side. The Lodge is a great example. That was an IP that we owned ourselves, like 101 Dalmatians, and we went out to third-party producers to produce it for us because, as Ryan said, we're not a studio ourselves. We just launched that second season, produced by Zodiac, just a couple weeks ago, and already it's our top show again, like it was in the first season. So that's a really good example of one way to work with us. Another way to work with us is to respond to an RFP similar to Nickelodeon, where we go out and we have a particular need that we want to produce content against. And First Class Chef's Family Style is a good example of that. We needed to create content around healthy living, and Fresh One produced a show called First Class Chefs for us, and then we did another version of it just recently, also produced by Fresh One. So that was another way producers can work with us. And then we have So Sammy. So Sammy, it was an original concept pitched to us, came to us really the old-fashioned way. We were knocking on doors to producers looking for content, and we got a great pitch. It was from Miranda Hart and King Burt Productions and Joe Sargent about a young girl who's a vlogger, and we tried something different with it. We created a digital series first. We created a 10 by 2 minutes series, which we put out on all platforms across the region in the past year. It started out on our Disney Life platform, then it went to our Disney app, then it went to YouTube, and it's been a great experiment for us to be able to do it in that way, because not only were we able to see literal traffic numbers, but also get great feedback from the audience. And it was a new way for us to be able to essentially pilot, but actually create content that we use for all our platforms, and working with great talent. So just to give you a little look at So Sammy.
Now today's vlog is all about facing your fears. For me, the scariest thing ever is the school party. What exactly is so scary about the school party? Me and my BFF Sid, that's me, reckon it's because we're all so afraid of looking uncool when we're there. We're in our coolest outfits, pulling our coolest faces, wearing our coolest shades. Okay, well, maybe not shades. We're also terrified of looking uncool when we're there. We forget how fun. Basically spend the entire night stood in a corner, looking cool.
So Sammy, you're working with Miranda Hart on that show. So how important is it to have the backing of, a big name talent like Miranda Hart, or a big studio in order to get a commission from Disney?
Of course, obviously, you get pitched something by great talent, great comedy talent like that. Of course, that's someone you pay attention to. But we're open to everybody. From new creators, Orion, the Norwegian twins, really new creators, and So it's not necessarily a requirement at all.
I would say talent is incredibly important.
Talent
but
is
it doesn't
important.
have to be big name or established talent. We always want to know who's going to make the show, who's going to make it good, who are the people behind it, but they don't have to be big names, not at all.
Okay. And so going back to 101 Dalmatian Street, so that was commissioned on the back of a call out you put for ideas for shows based on existing Disney IP.
We had a couple of specific heritage properties which we thought would be right for kind of development and for reinvention. So we went out to a small group of European creators and producers and studios and invited them to pitch. So we commissioned some small pieces of initial development from half a dozen different studios on a couple of different ideas. And the one that came back to us for 101 Dalmatian Street just felt exactly right for what we wanted.
And are you still looking for those kinds of pitches based on?
There are still a few more ideas that we have, and we will go out to select producers when we have the opportunity to make another heritage series. Heritage series, as you can see, with Big Hero 6 and Tangled and DuckTales are incredibly important to our older kids channels, not just Disney Junior. But we also want to make sure that we keep the focus on original content, and that's why it's important to us to keep doing co-productions and acquisitions with independent producers and really keep the doors open for new pitches on original ideas.
And Claude was a show that got pitched at Cartoon Forum, I think last year.
Was it?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
3 years ago?
3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Patience counts.
Yeah. And so was Disney involved after that or before that? And
We were involved
in terms of Cartoon Forum.
We were involved
this
after
year?
that. We were involved after that. We did some script development together before we pre-bought the show.
Okay. And so, yeah, is that a bit of a shift for you guys to go to an event like Cartoon Forum?
We always go to Cartoon Forum. It's an important part of our schedule, and it's a great way to see what's out there and what the whole European community creative community is producing.
The joke notwithstanding before, we have a broad range of ways that you can work with us. We don't always have to buy it and own all the rights. We've been doing that for quite a long time already here in EMEA. So whether it's co-production, pre-buy, acquisition, and then sometimes we fully buy an IP, we're really open. It's the theme of the show. We're open to working with folks in lots of different ways.
And so Sammy originated on your digital platform.
Yes.
So what are the key differences between a show that you develop for a digital platform, a Disney-owned digital platform, and for your linear channel?
Yeah, I think so. The clip before, so basically, the setup of the show is essentially she's a young girl who's a vlogger. Her mom has met a new boyfriend, and the boyfriend and his son have moved into the house. And her mom runs a party shop, and so it's a bit of a blended family situation. And we very much designed those 2-minute pieces to be used on mobile devices and online. So the entire talking to camera, the very simple graphics, the quick cuts. That's a lot of those techniques are not necessarily the same techniques we would use for a linear show. And also, as you can imagine, telling a 22-minute story with an A, B, and C plot, and the full design of a show is clearly different than doing quick 2-minute piece.
Do we have any questions from the audience? Yes, in this corner.
I'm Australian. I don't need a mic.
Ruh-roh.
You guys do some great live-action sitcoms in America. Just wondering if you're interested in doing that kind of stuff over here.
The 3-camera sitcom format is something that is incredibly well done by the States. So as Orion said, we look to complement the content that we get from the States. So The Lodge is a great example. That's a musical drama. We weren't getting one of those. We also do, for the broader region, we do a telenovela format, which is basically 81 hours of content per season. So we're generally not in the sitcom business. And even as we look ahead, we definitely would like to find outside of the dramas to find things that are a bit more comedic based, that do have more utility, that do have more repetition. We've done a really good job with The Lodge in terms of dramatic storytelling and serialization, and now to be able to build on that and complement that to have more utility, funnier, broader kind of shows. Younger skewing live action is where we're looking.
So we have 2 minutes left with Disney. Any other questions? One at the front here.
I'm a New Zealander and I will use the microphone. Tom Murphy, how do we get in touch with you for like a live action project?
So that was how can they get in touch? How can a producer get in touch with Disney for
I mean,
local
the
adaptation?
best thing to do is to find a Disney executive and start a conversation. And I'm leaving that deliberately vague because Disney is such a complicated organization. We spend a lot of time trying to figure it out ourselves. But there are a lot of Disney folks here. If it's a UK focused show, you should talk to Louise Bucknall. It's right over there. Louise, would you put your hand up? If it's an animated series, you should talk to Calvin Dyson or Divya Sachdeva. Lucy Pryke is one of our animation execs who's also here. Look, you can always just email me, orion.ross@disney.com.
O-R-I-O-N.
Yeah, O-R-I-O-N. And I will direct your call and make sure I may not answer you directly, but I'll help you navigate and find the right person that you should be talking to for your project. Above all, don't send us any unsolicited pitches. So introduce yourself first, start a conversation. It's a bit like a treasure hunt. Find a Disney exec, start a conversation, get their card, get the relationship going, and then find out, who do I send this to? Can I send this to you? Is it okay if I send you this pitch? Can we talk? Because there may be a release form that we need to do or something like that. So make sure you start the conversation and introduce yourself before you send anything through.
That is all the time we have for Disney. Orion, David, thank you.